Hello everyone. So in this video, I am going to tell you how I manifested my specific person, my man, from A to Z, because this is something that I have been asked so many times. How did you manifest your specific person? How was it so easy for you, and so on and so forth? So I'm going to give you the story here, not only from my point of view, but I'm going to do something in this video that hasn't been done in any other specific person video that I've ever seen. And it's the other side of the curtain, so to speak. I'm going to tell you what I was doing as the manifestor and how it works in the head of the manifestee. Because obviously, I told my SP what I was doing later on, of course. And he told me what was happening at the same time or about the same time in his own head. So this is really going to help you, because I know that many of you are stuck because you're doing your manifestation thing, but you are looking at your 3D world and it doesn't match at all what you're doing in the inside. So you're like, is it working? Is it working or is it not working? Well, it is working, and I'm going to show you not only that it is working, but how it works. So this video is, I think, really one of the kind where you are going to see what's going on both sides of the curtain. So please, if you are listening to this video, please subscribe, like the video, help my new channel, and share the video as well, because there are so many people who need to know how this works, not only for them, but for the person that they are trying to manifest. Hello manifestors, I am a manifestation coach, and if you are looking for someone to help you along the way to manifest your desire, to manifest your specific person, please check the links down below. So without further ado, how did I manifest my specific person from A to Z? Now, when it comes to my story of attracting my specific person, there are two phases, and I'm going to call them phase 1 and phase 2. Now, from the phase 1 to the time my SP was mine, 4 months had passed, and from phase 2, 2 months had passed. Interestingly, pretty much to the day. So no matter how you look at it, it was fast. But looking back, there is a good reason why it was so fast. And if you apply this to yourself, if you apply the principles that I applied to myself, it can go very fast for you too. Not to forget that I started out with a third party. So if I could manifest my SP from phase 1 to having him in my life with a third party to start with, nothing is impossible for you. I know that for a fact. So first off, when you're wasting your time asking yourself, how is this going to happen? Don't. Please don't ask, how is it going to happen? Because in my case, in phase 1 of me manifesting my SP, he appeared in my inbox. It was in regards to something that I'm doing online that has nothing to do with manifesting, where I also help people. By the way, helping people is my calling. So anyhow, he reached out to me because he wanted to let me know how much I helped him, and he wanted to thank me personally. Now, he knew that I am a busy person, so he did not expect a reply from me. But I did reply to him because I reply to everyone that writes me. So I did reply to his email. So right off the bat, from this first email of his, I learned that he was married and that he had a son. And from there, we exchanged a few emails. And at some point, he asked me if we could speak on the phone. And I said, sure, why not? So we arranged to speak on the phone on a specific day at a specific time. And interestingly, I was very busy that day before calling him. And I had a client session, so I was a bit late. And by the time I looked at my phone when I was ready to call him, I had already 2 texts. So you could tell that he was worried that I had forgotten about him. So one important thing that I want to mention at this point, and that you need to pay attention to, is that I was not looking for anyone at all, which means that I was not needy at all. I was happy and content with myself. I was not in the need of a relationship. It is very important that you get that, because when you are looking for someone, and even more so for someone specific, you have those negative, needy vibes that are subconsciously repulsing to the person. Even though they're not aware of it, subconsciously, the vibes that you are sending out when you are in need of what you want, it is actually repulsing to the person you are trying to manifest. Because we are part of the universe that we live in. And the universe says when you need something, you are going to need it even more. So the vibes, the vibration that you are projecting onto others when you need them, it's not going to make the person wanting to fill that need. It's going to make the person wanting to go away from you. So it's very important to understand that in phase 1, when I manifested my specific person, I was in no need at all for a specific person or for anyone, period. So after that phone call, we exchanged a few more emails. And in the last email we exchanged, at that phase 1, he offered to send me some information stories of his that could help me with my work. And he mentioned that instead of writing those down, he could maybe send me audio recordings of it. And I thought that this was a very good idea, so I said, sure. And this concluded phase 1. Now, you need to remember once again that 4 months after this that I'm speaking about now, we were in a romantic relationship. And you can tell how right now there is still nothing yet. So this is the end of June. It's actually the last day of June. And I am about to leave on my 2-month vacation across Europe, as I have been doing for the past 4 years. So this is July. I am on vacation in Greece. And on the 21st of July starts phase 2. So on the 21st of July, I am in Greece and I receive my SP's first audio recording. And I am listening to this thing over and over. And I really like that voice. And then on the 27th of July, I receive a second recording. And there, I don't know what took over me, but that's when I decided that this man was mine. Listening to those recordings, I can tell how much we have in common. And I am also understanding that he is not in a happy marriage. So I totally know that I have my shot at this. So on that day, I made the decision that my SP was mine. I assumed it, and I was really in the state of being in a relationship with my SP. 2 days later, as I was on the beach, I wrote 5 sentences down in my journal. And when I wrote those sentences, I wrote them with the intention that when I would hear those sentences from him, we would be well on our way in having a relationship. It was not a live in the end, like we already married type of thing. It was that when I hear those sentences, it would be the beginning of our relationship. So now what's going on this side at this time? Because this is the part that we don't know when we are trying, or trying is not the word, when we are manifesting an SP. What's going on in their heads? What's going on in their world when you are assuming completely that this person is yours? Well, because I am very good at dates, as you may realize here, and I have a journal anyhow where I write stuff, so I can't really go wrong about dates. So when we exchange notes, so to speak, with my man, about 10 days after I decided that we were in a relationship and assumed it completely, he was on vacation in Italy with his wife and son. And one night, he dreams about me. His dream was very short, but very specific and very vivid. So in his dream, I had just got up and walked towards the kitchen. And we were in the same bungalow that he was renting and where he was staying with his wife and son. And he got up a couple of minutes later and he put his arms around my waist from behind me, and I put my head on his shoulder. This was the dream, very short, like I said, but very vivid. So you see, this man who was still married, 10 days after I assumed that he was mine, had that dream about me. And what's interesting is that not only he had the dream, but the whole day he couldn't stop thinking about me. And as he told me, as he was thinking about me, he was also thinking, wow, you're crazy. This woman doesn't even know you. And it was true. We were still perfect strangers really at the time, when not only I decided that he was the man of my life, but when he had a dream that he was actually living with me in a romantic relationship. So I'm not going to go too much into details here because this video would last 2 hours. But I wanted you to see what is going on the other side of the curtain when you are manifesting your specific person. As I hope you know by now, there is no such thing as free will. We are everyone pushed out. So when you have feelings about yourself, meaning when you are in a state and that you have certain thoughts, specific thoughts about that other person, they are bound to respond accordingly. And that goes for those who don't believe it and those who don't like it and those who have a problem saying people are not puppets. Well, the truth of the matter is that it doesn't really matter what you think, because this is how the universe works. So whether you like it or not, this is how the universe works. It will always respond to the way you feel about yourself and the way you feel about others. So when you are manifesting someone, you don't need to force them to do anything. As a matter of fact, there is one thing that I insist in telling my clients all the time, and it's that they should never do anything physical when they are attracting an SP, whether it's an ex or someone new. Unless it's really, and they are 120% sure that is an inspired action, they should just leave it alone. Because if you do your job correctly, like I did, in your head, using your imagination and your senses and being in the right state of being with that person, they will come to you. That's why I wanted to make this video. You see what I did? Not much. I was in the right state, I made the right assumption, and I wrote few statements in my journal, and that's all I did. 10 days later, in his dream, he's in a relationship with me, and the following day, he can't stop thinking about me. That's how it works. So now, this is August 1st, and I am flying from Greece to England. I was going to be just outside of London for 3 weeks. And while I was not far from London, I wasn't in London. I was taking care of the dog of some friends who went on vacation for 3 weeks overseas, so they couldn't take their dog. And at this point, I caught myself thinking too much about my SP, to the point that I knew that I was about to get needy and to miss him. And I knew that I couldn't have that. Now, I didn't have a whole lot to do all day, and I had no friends around whatsoever. My main occupation was, besides having a few client sessions that I still had even on vacation, my main occupation was walking the dog like 3 times a day. And it meant that I still had a lot of time to think all day long. So I decided to watch 10 seasons of a TV show that I remembered that I used to like back in the US and never really watched. So I decided, well, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to watch this thing all day long, and it's going to occupy my mind. And it did. That's why it's very bad for you, by the way, to watch bad stuff on TV, because it does fill your mind. So I started to watch this TV show like 7 to 8 hours a day. And this is something I never do. But I knew that by doing this, I was going to occupy my mind with something else. And I knew that it was a must, because otherwise I might have ended up doing what many of you are doing, which is thinking about my SP 24/7, but at the same time, not in a healthy way, but more like in a when is it going to happen kind of way. And this, I wanted none of it. I knew that if I was going to go into that rabbit hole, it wasn't going to be good for my manifestation. And I applied my own medicine, the things that I keep telling you here on this channel, on my Facebook group, or one-on-one sessions. I didn't let doubts, I didn't let neediness settle, because I knew it was going to be completely counterproductive. So in other words, I let go. And by the way, if you want to know what letting go means, click on the link above. And the link will be also down below my video about letting go and what it means. And it worked. It worked like a charm. Because 2 weeks later, I received an email from my SP. It was a happy birthday email. Except that it was 4 days before my birthday. So again, here is the other side of the curtain, why that happened. When I asked my man much later, why the heck did he send me a happy birthday 4 days before my birthday? He said that he couldn't find any other better idea to write to me, and he had to write to me. And he realized that it was not quite my birthday, but it was close enough so he could come up with an excuse. Because when I emailed him back saying, well, thank you for the birthday wishes, but my birthday is in 4 days from now, he said, well, yeah, I know, but I'm writing to you now because I don't think I'll be able to do it on the 20th. It was the 16th. And that was his excuse back then. But the real reason why he was doing it was because he had this impulse to write to me, and he couldn't find any other excuse, so he had to use my birthday. That was close enough to use as an excuse. And then, interestingly, the day after this supposedly birthday wish email, he sends me another email, and this time he's telling me, hey, by the way, if you happen to pass by naming the city where he lives, would you want to have lunch with me? And when I received that email, I just knew that it was done for real, not only in my imagination, but it was really done that I was really going to get my desire. Then after that, I was going to be in London for a week. And that's when he started to communicate with me through Facebook chat. And from then on, we started chatting every evening. He was chatting with me to no end through Facebook. Then we started to chat on Skype. When he was on his lunchtime at work, he would get into his car, get onto Skype, and we would chat like a whole hour or so. So we would speak every day during his lunchtime for an hour or so on Skype, and every evening through Facebook instant messages for hours at a time, from 2 to 4 hours. Now, there are many more details to the story, of course, but I'm not going to go into details, and I want to end this video now. So basically, this is the end of August, and by the end of September, which is to the day, 4 months to the day, 4 months from the day he sent me that first email, and almost to the day, minus 3 days from the day I decided that he was mine, on September 30th, we were officially in a romantic relationship. Another very interesting thing to notice is that, again, you may have forgotten, but I had a third party involved. But because she never came to mind, she disappeared very easily. My SP, who was in a very unhappy marriage for years, for the longest time, decided to leave his wife and to divorce her very soon after that. So that's another video you can check down below or above this video, how to get rid of a third party. So anyhow, I have to end this video, which is so long already. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. If you have to listen to it again, what state you need to be in to get in contact with the love of your life to start with. And once you decide that you want this person, how you need to assume that they are yours, that you are in a relationship with them, and what you need to do in case you start to become too needy for that relationship. Thank you for listening. I hope it wasn't too long. Please check the links down below for joining my Facebook group. It's a closed group, so you're safe there. And all the other cool links that I have. And thank you again for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.